It's the hottest ticket in Washington, but this week we got a special sneak preview of the National Museum of African American History and Culture. The grand opening is next Saturday, featuring President Obama. But we got a tour from our Power Player of the Week.
I am humbled, emotional. In fact, I'm very emotional.
Lonnie Bunch is director of the new museum, and when the doors open next weekend, people will be stunned by its historical sweep and emotional power. It takes you back in time to when the first slaves were brought to this country, and then shows how an oppressed people endured and thrived. What do you hope people take away from this museum?
The story of the civil rights movement is not a story simply of African Americans struggling for freedom. It's a story of expanding the notions of freedom for all Americans.
There's a slave cabin from South Carolina where a dozen blacks were crammed in together. And one of the few relics from the 1921 Tulsa race riot, where whites destroyed what was then the Black Wall Street.
A family whose house was burned went back in, and the only thing they could recover were 4 charred pennies. That the family kept those pennies for generations tells a lot about how important that memory was.
But Bunch hopes the museum gives people a sense of the tension between times of tragedy and triumph. He showed us a segregated railway car from the era of Jim Crow.
In this car, you would walk through the front, so you'd actually see the white community. Then you'd go through a swinging door that says colored, and then you'd be in the back where the African Americans would be.
But then he took us upstairs to an exhibit called Game Changers.
You get someone like Muhammad Ali, and you actually say, here's his athletic career, but here's what he meant beyond that.
I gotta stop. Jackie Robinson's jersey, Jackie Robinson's bat?
To be honest, that's the best part of my job, is I actually get to hold Jackie Robinson's jersey.
We met Bunch back in 2012 when he'd already been leading this daunting project for 7 years.
Let's just say that at 8 o'clock in the morning I have the best job in America, and at 2 o'clock in the morning it's the dumbest thing I've ever done.
Now it's a reality. The exterior is bronze ironwork, echoing what slaves created in Charleston and New Orleans. In a city of white stone, it makes a statement.
What we wanted to do was not to create something, a black museum, but to basically just hint at the notion that there has been this dark presence that we need to always now consider and understand.
The museum opens as the conversation about race is charred, with talks of Black Lives Matter. Bunch hopes this will be a healing place.
It's not concrete and glass, it's not even the artifacts. It's really the souls of so many people whose stories we're trying to tell, whose lives weren't considered the stuff of history, but we want to make that happen. If we do this right, America will have a chance to understand itself in newer and fuller and maybe more complex ways.
Tickets are free to the museum, but demand is so high all passes are gone through October. If you want to see the exhibition, and trust me, you do, tickets from November on are available online through the museum's website.